Hello, everybody. It's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly episode number 194 for November 29th, 2022. So let's jump right into my current projects. And guess what? What do you think I've been working on? Sounds like Isthmus. Yeah, it sounds like Isthmus. So here we go. More Christmas stuff. I'm hoping this is pretty much the last of all of this. These are Christmas placemats, obviously, and napkins. The reason I made these was actually two reasons. One, I had scraps left over from all the other Christmas projects I had made. And two, I had just bought a new die, the Hunter Star die from Quilt, and I wanted to try it out. So I thought I'd use up my scraps by trying that out and making these Christmas placemats. So I have a set of 4. And the napkins as well. Now, the napkins were not from scraps. I went out and bought some more Christmas fabric for these. And as you can see on these ones, which are a little different from the other ones I made previously, I added a little embroidered element to this little snowflake starry kind of thing. That's on one corner of each napkin. And of course, I have my reindeer 3D printed napkin rings on these as well. So another present. And if you saw my So Chatty last week, you saw all the stuff I've been making. And I've got a lot more stuff than I have people to give it to. Now, before you say, yes, I'd like some, thank you very much, I'm going to tell you something. Well, before I tell you that, let me clear my throat. Sorry about that. I'm just going to switch over here to these little items. And again, there was a sale on, these were 68 cents American each for the design. So I bought 6 different designs. I made 2 of each. They're in the hoop combination freestanding lace and freestanding applique. And these are actually Christmas tree ornaments, but I'm going to tie them to the handles of each one of my Christmas bags as an added little bonus item, I guess, to whatever I put in those bags. So people can just untie them from the bag and put them on their tree or put them on a gift or put them wherever they want to put them, so to speak. But back to what I was saying about, I know that a lot of times people are just joking. They say, oh, well, you want to send it to me. You want to know something? Quite honestly, I would love to send things to people, to subscribers. I would love to like have little contests and give things away. But I looked into shipping on items. And even though a lot of the items I make, especially the 3D printed ones, are very light and small, in Canada, shipping is astronomical. Give you an example. I put 3 of my 3D printed gnome things into a box, a cardboard box that measures 6 inches by 6 inches by 6 inches. I then found a postal code for Vancouver, BC, because I figured that's pretty much the furthest. Sorry, choking up here. Yeah, once you hear the price, you'll choke up too. I put in a postal code for Vancouver, BC, because that's 5,000 kilometers away from me. So I figured that was a good judge. Anything closer would be less money, you would think. So I plugged that in. I put in the dimensions of the box. I have a little scale system, electronic scale. I weighed how much this was going to weigh with the things in the box. It came under a pound. It was about 0.8 of a pound. 0.8 of a pound. So I just put in a pound. I figured, yeah, go for it with a pound. Guess how much? Well, first of all, it was $17 plus a surcharge for almost $7 more for fuel. Surcharge for fuel. Okay. At that price, it should be rocket fuel. And then there's tax. So to send this little under a pound package to Vancouver from where I live in Ontario was going to cost about $29. Yeah, not happening. The other thing too is that doesn't include having tracking on it, insurance on it, anything like that. All those other things are extra, which puts it over, well over 30 some dollars. Okay, so I thought, all right, well, that's to Vancouver. That's 5,000 kilometers away. Let's try someplace closer in my own province. Let's try Ottawa. Ottawa's 4 hours away from me. I plugged in all the same information. Guess what? Almost the same price. It was different by maybe a quarter, by 25 cents, something like that. So it didn't matter whether I was sending it across the country or within my own province. That is effing ridiculous. Really. Now, for those of you that are Americans, I hope now you might understand when I speak to you about shipping rates in this country and getting stuff. Again, I don't know, I'm all frogged up here. And getting stuff from the States. Why I don't order from the States. Because it's incredible what we're paying for shipping. I really admire the Americans because you have so many stores in the States, online stores, that all say free shipping if within the continental USA. But yeah, so welcome to Canada. And you know, it's not that the service is excellent that you're paying for either. It is not. There are no guarantees, even if you put it on tracking. And by the way, that was the cheapest method. That was, I think, 7 to 8 days they said it would be delivered in. So over a week. If you want it faster, the price went up astronomically. Astronomically. So people, as much as I wish that I could, all the things I show you that I make mass quantities of, it's the shipping that kills me to get them to you. Now, I'm not a business. Businesses get a bit of a discount. So when you hear places in Canada that are giving flat rate or things like that, that's because they're a business. I'm not a business. I don't qualify for those kind of things. And at one point in time, I did look into incorporating myself as a business, but it's just sheer hell to do that. Because once you've done that, then you've got to start filing tax stuff. And it becomes horrendous for one person. And I'm not interested in operating a business. I'm retired, as you know. And no, this is my passion. This is my fun. So I don't want to start a business. I regret that it's just the cost is just too much to send things out to people. But that's the way it is here in Canada. Okay, I thought you'd like to know about that. Okay, let's move on. As soon as I get things cleared up here. Okay, I hope that's better. So, on the weekend, I had a pop-up sew day, and many of you were there, and thank you for coming. I live for those. They're lots of fun. I have lots of fun, and I think everybody else had a lot of fun because there was a whole lot of chatter going on, and people were playing tricks on me as well, in good fun. I know it was all in good fun, and you know, it was fun. Anyways, did I tell you how much fun it was? Did I say the word fun? Fun. It was fun. It was really fun. Okay, I think I've made the point. So, as what always happens when I have a pop-up sew day or craft and chat or something like that, people come up with things that I don't know anything about, which is another reason why I like it. And the discussion went around to a subscription box service that is out of Canada. Now, I know there are tons of monthly subscription boxes for quilters and sewers and whatever that are run by many companies in the States, online companies. And I've always been very curious about them. And I watch a lot of the unboxing or the reveals of these subscription boxes as well. But again, I go back to what I said about what it costs to ship things to Canada. And, and the exchange rate in that case too on our money, it just makes it unaffordable for me anyways. So Stephanie Stitches did an unboxing of a Canadian quilt club called the Sewers Club Stash Box. And I'll just put this up on the screen for you. Here is the website, and they were having a Black Friday sale, but let's just go to their homepage for a second so you get this. This company offers a couple of monthly subscription boxes. One is a project every month box, and another one is Stash Builder. And it was the Stash Builder that they convinced me, the people on there convinced me that this was worth the effort. Now, is it inexpensive? Not really, depending on what you want. And you know me, go big or go home. So I didn't take 5, I took 15 fat quarters. And I did it monthly. Now, one thing I like about this site is that they give you a variety of options here. If you can't afford it monthly, you can get it bi-monthly, or you can get it quarterly. So that would be what, 3 times a year? Um, so that's, you can basically adjust the price according to what you can afford. But as I said, I go big or go home. So I did the 15 fat quarters monthly. And then you get a chance to pick exactly what it is you want included. So I picked batiks, solids and blenders, holiday and seasonal, and shimmers. And then they ask you about your color choices. And I picked all of these. And then they said what to never send you. And I selected juvenile and children and animals, because I know pretty much I probably wouldn't use those types of designs in anything that I'm making. So the price is $46.50. Now, the advantage, once you get to the final, they charge you shipping for this as well. I don't think they charge you shipping for the one that was the project box, which is a little cheaper. But they do charge you $12.99 shipping, Canadian shipping. I don't know what it would be for Americans. I don't know if it's the same or not. And of course, this is all in Canadian dollars. So for Americans, even better deal because of the exchange rate on the dollar. But Stephanie Stitches had reviewed this, and she had a discount code for your first order, which was about 30%. So I got $13 off the order. So it came to a total of about $50 and some change. So I'm trying it out. The other thing is, if I don't like it or I want to cancel it any time, I can. So I figured, let's give it a shot. Let's see. Other people that have gotten the Stash Builder box have seemed very pleased with what they got. One person on the pop-up sew day actually showed me some of the fabrics she's gotten, and they did look pretty good. And if you work out the price here in Canada anyways, the average price on fat quarters is anywhere from about $4.50 to $5 a fat quarter. So 15 fat quarters, if I was to buy them in a store, say at $5 a piece, that's $75. Well, I'm paying a lot less than that. I'm paying, right now with the discount, 50. But without the discount, it comes out to about 60. It might be $66 because you have to figure in the tax in there, something like that a month. I still think that is kind of expensive. But then again, I got thinking about this, and this may be rationalization here, okay? But I got thinking, how much do I spend on fabric every month in a regular fabric store? Well, it varies, but you know me, it's usually hundreds of dollars. I actually have a budget, believe it or not, for fabric. I have a little pool of money that I put so much into all the time, and if I don't spend all that money in a month, I carry it over and add more to it. So yeah, I can make this work if it's good quality, if it works out well. Do I need more fabric? Well, no, you know me, it's never a need, it's a want. So, I think you could really build up your stash pretty quickly with something like this. They're in a place not that far from me on the other side of Toronto, north end of the city. Brampton, I believe they're located out of. And we'll see how their service is, all of those things. And I'll let you know. And when I get the first box, which I'm a little confused about when this first box is supposed to come, because according to their website, it's either coming on the December 26th. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Not with the way Christmas, mail runs in this country. Or it's supposed to come before then, because they're running some kind of special schedule or something if you subscribe by the 10th of December if you're Canadian. The Americans had, I think, December 14th or something like that. It was a little bit confusing. Didn't understand it, and I can't find that information again on the website. So I don't know. We'll see. Whatever. It's not like I'm in a big rush for it anyways. So knowing me, I'll forget that I ordered it, and it'll be a surprise when it arrives. So as I said, I'll show you this and give you my honest review of what I think of it when I get the first box. Okay, so speaking of Christmas and orders and things, I'm sure you are probably scratching your head trying to figure out what to give a quilting or sewist friend for Christmas. And there are tons of videos out there about people's favorite things and gift buying guides for Christmas and things like that. So I thought I'd do a little mini one of 6 of my favorite things that could be Christmas gifts and are not that expensive, except for one of them. One of them is fairly expensive, but I'm going to insert the little video I did about that right here for you. Since Christmas is just around the corner, I thought I'd talk about some of my favorite things that I think would also make unique and great gifts for quilters or sewists. Now, there's lots of YouTube videos out there with people's favorite things for Christmas and lots of gift buying guides. So this is sort of mine in a mini version. And I have in front of me laid out 6 of my favorite tools that I really, really like. The one to my furthest left that looks like a pen is not a pen, but it is a one-drop oiler. What that means is you can open this up, pour in some of your sewing machine oil into this, screw it back together, and then when you take the cap off the barrel, it has a little tip that when you push down on the top of the pen, delivers 1 drop of oil. And that's all you need to lubricate your sewing machine. And it sometimes is awkward to get your oiling bottle into that spot underneath the bobbin case, that little hole that's got a piece of what looks like lint in it, but is not. It's a wick. Don't pull it out. You need it. So with this, it's precision. You just give it one little click and you've got your machine oiled up. So I really like this. Where you can pick it up is, I believe I bought it on Amazon. Now, I have not put links for any of these items into the show notes simply because most of them have come from Amazon or from a quilt store. And because they're fairly common items, I'm sure you'll be able to find them. The second tool is a must-have as far as I'm concerned, and that's a stiletto. Now, they come in various styles. I think this is a cloverleaf, manufactured by Cloverleaf. I really like my stiletto. It helps me, if while I'm sewing, if I have a seam that's popping up underneath the foot of my sewing machine, don't try sticking your fingers in there because that could be disastrous. This protects you from that. You can hold it down, run your machine, and away you go. But it's so great for other things too, like lining up small pieces of fabric that you're sewing. Just anything where you need to hold down something, but you don't want to do it with your fingers because it may put you in danger. There are 101 uses for a stiletto. I use it when it comes to even using it like an awl, and that's probably the other name for this, for punching holes in things as well. So yeah, that's one of my I cannot live without tools. Now the one beside it, the third item, looks like a little shaver, and that is exactly what it is. It is not something that was meant for quilting, but works really well when it comes to ripping out stitches. If you've got 2 seams that you need to get apart quickly and you've got a long row of stitching, this will work. And essentially, because the teeth on this are so small, it will only cut the threads. It will not cut your fabric. And it's really easy to use. Now, these were originally, as I said, designed as a small hair trimmer. And they're available in many places. My quilt store, the first one that I bought was from my quilt store. And it cost me about 25 bucks. And I got it home. I was all excited about this. And Walter says, I have one of those. And I says, you do not? And he says, yes, I do. And he reaches into a drawer and he pulled one out, which was exactly the same as the one I bought at the quilt store. It was just a different color. And he paid a lot less for it. Well, you can get them on Amazon, but check your dollar store out first, because the one you see right here that says Barbasol, which is a men's shaving supply company, this one cost me $4 at the dollar store, as opposed to the very first one that I bought, which was $25. So it works like a charm. I use it a lot, especially if I've got a long seam to rip out. It just goes through it like butter. And as I said, it'll cut the threads, but it doesn't cut your fabric. The next item is a seam roller. So sometimes you're sitting at your sewing machine, you're sewing away, but you don't want to get up and go over to your iron just to press down a seam. Well, this takes the place of your iron. Now, I poo-pawed these when I first saw them. I thought, yeah, right, it's a little wooden roller. How's this going to work? Well, it does. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. Now, it does not replace your iron, but if you don't want to keep getting up and down, you're doing a lot of chain sewing of something, that kind of thing, it will serve the purpose, kind of like finger pressing, but it saves your finger, and it does a better job than finger pressing, I think, as well. And then when you've got all the pieces done, you can go over to your sewing machine and give it a final press. These are by Violet Craft, but again, you can find them everywhere on the internet. But here's something else. Go to your local hardware store and go in the section that has wallpaper, and you'll probably find one in there as well. Price-wise, it depends on where you get it. I think if you buy a Violet Craft one, it costs me about $15 Canadian. But if you go to the hardware store, you may get it for less. You might even find it in the hardware section or home improvement section of your local dollar store. The only thing is, some of them have a plastic wheel. I don't recommend those. The wood works better than the plastic wheel. Now, the next really weird looking little thing sitting here is one that I did do a review on some time ago. This is actually meant to clean your wool mat. That's not completely true. I got this from Amazon. Best place to buy it. If you buy it from an online quilt store, you're going to pay double the price for one. For half the price, which I think it was about $9.99 on Amazon, and of course all my dollars are in Canadian dollars, you got a package of two. I gave one to Walter. And the reason I got it is because I saw somebody on a YouTube video using it to clean their wool mat. Now, you know how you'll get little bits and pieces of things on your wool mat and or stains and things like this. Well, this basically shaves the wool mat very finely. It's got microfine little teeth on it, and it'll pick up lint, it'll pick up threads, and if you do have a slight stain on your mat, you can sort of get rid of it. It's not going to take the whole thing out, because basically you are shaving off a very fine top layer of your wool pressing mat with this. But it does work. Sometimes you might have got something sticky on your wool mat too, say, you know, some steam-a-seam or something like that, and it's, you know, pushing down on the fibers of the wool mat. Use this. This will fluff it up, so to speak, as well. So my recommendation, though, is you don't need to spend a lot of money for one of these. Go to Amazon, because the quilt stores are selling it at a premium price, and they're absolutely no different than what I'm showing you here. Now, the last favorite, and this I got very recently, and I just absolutely love it. And out of all of these things that are sitting here in front of us, this was probably the most expensive tool, but I do not regret a cent I spent for this. It is a product, it's a relatively new product by Quilted Hearts, and it is essentially for making binding. You'll notice there's two little, what look like straps on the side of this. Well, this is made out of silicone, so it is absolutely heat resistant. And you'll notice that it's shaped like an iron bottom. That's on purpose. You take your piece of binding, you fold it in half like you normally would, and press the first 6 inches of it as you normally would. But then you slip it under these two little holes or straps and lay your iron on top of the binding. Now, it's not going to scorch anything. It's not going to melt anything. Well, I don't recommend you put this on top of your cutting mat. That might be a problem, but on top of a wool mat or a proper pressing surface, no problem. And you just pull your binding from one side to the other side with your iron sitting down on this flat, and you can have binding made within minutes, and you don't burn your fingers as well. You know how that happens when you try to fold it over and hold it down. So I love this. Now, I said it was a pricey item. It is a pricey item. This cost me about 80 bucks Canadian. I did order it from a quilt store, a Canadian quilt store. I have not been able to find it on Amazon yet. It may appear on Amazon at some point in time, and it might be a little cheaper than that. If you're an American, it's definitely cheaper. About, I think, if you were an American and buy it at an American store, I think you would get it for about half of what I paid for it. But because I'm Canadian, because this is imported from the States to Canada store with taxes, with exchange and that, it cost me 80 bucks. But I don't resent spending a cent on this. I absolutely love it. It just makes the task of making binding so much easier, so much faster. So those are my 6 items that I think are somewhat unique, but I also think would make great gifts for quilters or sewists in your life. And as I said, I don't have links because these are available in a variety of different stores. So check out Amazon first. Check out your local dollar or discount stores for some of these items as well. And then, yeah, you may have to check for at least the last item at a quilt store. So I have another installment for you of the North Pole Christmas Tree Skirt, the project that's an In the Hoop project. I have gotten a few more of the sections done. This video shows you now just a continuation of the videos I've been showing over the last few weeks, the actual construction of one of the pieces. But just to let you know, I have finished the first round, which is the inner circle, they call it, and that's 15 blades. Now I can start the middle section, which is going to take even longer, but it's another 15 sections or blades. I call them blades. And then there's a third section after that. Is this going to be done by Christmas? No, it is not. In fact, I'm going to start pulling out maybe today all of my Christmas stuff from my crawl space, and I'm going to start decorating this week. So I like to get things up at about December the 1st. So yeah, I'm probably not going to have it done for this Christmas, but anyways, I am recording my progress, and as time goes by, you'll get a few more installments of putting this together. And eventually, at the end of it all, I will put all these little segments together into one video as a tutorial. So here's this week's installment. Now, one thing I want to mention to you is I keep a list of the colors that I have chosen to use with this. And you can see on this little sticky note here, I have the numbers that my machine is saying on the left-hand side, and I find the equivalent or the color I want to use in my Floriani by their numbers in the right-hand column. And I hang on to this piece of paper. This one says block number 1, and I'm working on block number 2. But in most of these kind of in the hoop projects, colors will be repeated. So instead of having to search every time, and for the sake of consistency, I know exactly which color I'm using when the numbers come up on my screen. So it just keeps things consistent. So I'm all loaded with my next color, and it's now going to do a little design. And here we go. Now you notice that there was a bit of a tail of the thread. And some people will stop the machine as soon as that is there and it's been secured and cut off that extra piece. I do sometimes and sometimes I don't, because what I have found is a lot of times that extra piece of thread, the machine just embroiders into the pattern itself. Is this a good practice? Probably not. So if you're just a beginning embroiderer, machine embroiderer, I strongly suggest that after it's taken a few stitches, stop your machine, cut off the end of the thread, and then carry on. Now I'm operating my machine at the slowest speed, about 400 stitches per minute. I can go up to about 800 stitches per minute, and that would be faster, but I have found when you're doing something like this, slow and steady actually gives you less problems. The faster you go, the more things can go wrong. Okay, so this design is done. It's just a little thing, and it'll build on that design and put all the other pieces on. So I'm not going to show you every one of these embroidered pieces. That would be boring. I'll show you the final product when I get there. Okay, the embroidery on this piece is all done, as you can see, the different stars and the little gifts and things like that. And now we're going to take it out of the hoop. So we just pop it out, put the hoop over to one side, and now we need to tear off this excess stabilizer. And it's very easy to do so. And it just tears along the edges of what's here of the sewing, because it basically has been perforated by that. You may have a few stray pieces that you have to get in there with your fingers and just pull them off. There we go. Now the next thing is we need to trim this up. Because these pieces are going to be put together on a sewing machine, we need to have a seam allowance. And in the case of machine embroidery, the standard seam allowance at seams with most of these projects I've done is 1/2 inch from the outside line. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm lining my ruler up with my 1/2 inch mark along that outside stitch line and just going all the way around on the 3 sides of this triangle. Missed a little piece there. Actually, I said 3 sides. There's actually 4. So line that up. And the last part of this. And there we are. We have our second part of the inside circle. There's only 13 more of these to go. And then we start to work on the next middle ring and then the outer ring. So you can see this took about 40 minutes or so, 45 minutes to complete. But that one's done. Now I like to label it. So I just take a sticky note, and on the sticky note, I'm going to write, just check my notes here. This is the inside, if I have a pencil that writes, inside block number 1, gifts. I'm going by what they call it in the book, and I'm just going to double check that for me. And that was called the inside block 2. Sorry, inside block 2, gifts 2. Okay. Not absolutely sure why it's called gifts 2. I guess it's because it's slightly different design than what was on the other one. So that takes me to subscribers quilt of the week. And I meant to show you this last week, and I apologize to Diana Corday. She's a new subscriber. She's in Bermuda, and she sent me this picture of her beautiful creation, and Somehow I missed it last week, but I'm making up for that now. I'm showing it this week. So here's Diana's beautiful creation. This week's quilt from a subscriber is a very beautiful star, Christmas star quilt, and it's from Diana Corday, who is a recent subscriber to my channel, and she lives in sunny Bermuda, as she calls it, and this is what she writes. Good morning, Stephen. As promised, here's a picture of one of my earliest quilts. No idea what year it was, but at least 30 years ago. We were awaiting the arrival of a hurricane, and I needed something to do, praying all the while that the power would not go out. I did not like all of the negative space in the corners, so I made 4 small blocks to fill that area. It was sent away to a long-arm quilter in Canada to be quilted. Yes, there were some Y seams, but I also eliminated some of them. Cheers and have a great day. Well, this is an absolutely stunning quilt. And you say that you made it 30 years ago. Well, that's incredible. It has stood up to the test of time. And the quilting in it is phenomenal. The detail, and you say that you had it quilted in Canada. Well, that's really quite amazing. So thank you so much, Diana, for sending this beautiful creation to us. It's just absolutely breath-stopping. And of course, I'm always accepting submissions for subscribers quilt of the week. So if you have a quilt or any creation, it doesn't have to be a quilt. It can be any creation, sewn or unsewn, that you'd like me to feature on here, please just send it to my email address, which is in the show notes below, and I'd be more than happy to show it. Write me a little 50 words or less blurb about it, and please limit your pictures to no more than 2. Okay? So yeah, please send those to me. Okay, so we were talking about gifts for quilters. Well, Karen Brown of Just Get It Done Quilts put out her 2022 Gifts for Quilters guide. She calls it Gifts That You Want and Will Use. And so I'm going to review that video for you, but you can go in and look at it at your leisure because I'll have the link for it in the show notes below. Keeping with my theme of gifts for quilters and sewists, you may want to check out Just Get It Done Quilts by Karen Brown, her episode on Gifts for the Quilter 2022, Gifts That You Want and Will Use. And she has a few more items on this list that are, I think, things that in some ways are obvious, other things that aren't so obvious in terms of gifts for people who sew. And she does a description and she has links to most of these items in her show notes. So this is one segment from Just Get It Done Quilts, and that I think is very timely right now. And if you're having trouble figuring out what to get somebody for Christmas who is a quilter or sewist, then you'll want to check out Karen's review of some of these items as well. Get your Christmas shopping done early. And that takes me to another pattern that is tickling my fancy and I would love to make someday soon. It's called Confetti Star Block and it's by Amy Friend. The pattern I want to feature this week is one I just recently got because it was sent to me and it was free. And I think the stars look really interesting. Well, you know I love stars, but these are ones that I think you could use up to some of your scraps for. I believe it's a paper pieced pattern. Yes, it is. And it is a free downloadable pattern. And it's by someone called Amy Friend. Now, how did I get it? Well, it was sent to me because I signed up for some kind of special event that went on a week or so ago in November. And it was a link to a whole bunch of different quilt designers' blogs. And they had freebies and they just sent them to you via email. And this is one that came to me and I thought, yeah, it looks really interesting. Now, in order to get this, I will put this link in my show notes below, but you have to go to this person's newsletter and sign up for it, this Amy Friend. And I'm just go down here, I think where she says this. Yeah. She says, if you would like the pattern, please subscribe to my newsletter, main page of my blog on the bottom right. So up here in the top of this, she must have her blog. There it is there. So that's where you can go to pick this up. And I'm just clicking on that to see what that looks like. She said it was at the bottom. Okay, the bottom. Well, we're going for a long ride here, aren't we? She's got other things too as well that look kind of interesting. All right, I don't see it. Oh, there you go. Subscribe to our newsletter, and I guess it'll be sent to you then that way. But anyways, let's go back and take another look at this. She says that the stars can be of any type as long as the block measures 12 inches finished in one direction. And as I said, it is a paper pieced pattern, and she includes in the pattern the actual paper pieced sheets that you can print out for this. Now, I don't do a lot of paper piecing, but I might give this a try just to see, because I do think it's a great way to use up your scraps. So if you're interested in it, I'll put this link in my show notes, and like she says, sign up for her newsletter and you'll get it. Okay, so I also have an interview this week, which I've already put up. I put it up before I put this video up today. And this is an interview with one of my subscribers, Soden of the Purple Wall. And I'm sure if you're not familiar with Kay, you need to check out her YouTube channel, The Purple Wall. There's a link for it in the show notes below. Really interesting person. She downplays herself, but she should not. She is very worthy of an interview as far as I'm concerned. So here's a little teaser of that interview. So I'm getting the feeling that it skips a generation. Does your daughter have any, or any of your children have any desires to quilt?
Now, my daughter does want to learn, and when I was down there this summer, we had started a quilt, but I don't know if it's really that it skipped a generation. It's just how things fit into your life, you
Mm,
know.
true.
Um, my mom, was busy raising four kids, and
Hmm.
I wonder if maybe my grandmother. I don't know when my grandmother started quilting. Like I said, we never really talked about that, and now she's gone, so that's
Oh,
lost
yeah.
opportunity. But um, if she started that later, maybe after her kids were gone, so she had that time, like I'm doing right now. Um, and my mom has been gone, so she, wasn't there into kids leaving the home and having that time. So I feel like it might be more that kind of a thing where
Yeah.
we discover that we have this big gap when we become empty nesters.
Yep. And I am now officially out of interviews. I have put out a few feelers to people. I've had basically no response from those individuals. So for one reason or another, I don't know. Maybe I'm too small of potatoes for them to bother. Maybe they don't think I'm legit about it or whatever, or they're shy. Or there's other factors I'm sure that could factor into that. Um, but if you'd like to be interviewed, yes, you've heard me say this before, but I mean it. I absolutely mean it. Don't be shy. Everybody has a story to tell. And I don't bite unless you want me to. So, yeah, get over your shyness and say, Steve, I would love to be interviewed by you. And I will go, I would love to interview you. And we will. Okay, that takes me to the online fabric store. I have ordered from this one now. And this came about, I always do my prep for my Idiot Quilter episodes uh, the week before I put them up. And I last week I was looking at this quilt store called Quincy's Quilting. They're out west. And I was really impressed by their selection of things and by their price. So much so that I put in a $300 order. Yes, and I think it's supposed to arrive today. So it should arrive this week anyway. So next week I will be showing what I got. But in the meantime, here's my review of Quincy's Quilting. This week's online quilt store is called Quincy's Quilting, and they do specialize in doing the long arm services as well. They are Canadian, and I'm not really sure where they are located, but let's just take a look under Contact Us. Do we have it here? No, they do have their store hours, and they are in Alberta, in Leduc. So let's just take a look at what they have to offer. Now, on their front page, they're having a big sale. $6 half meters is $12 a meter for fabric. That doesn't sound bad. Fabrics, notions, long arm services. So as I said, they are a long arm service store. And I'm just clicking on here to see if we find anything. Nope, you can't find anything about that on here, but I'm sure it's under their shop. Oh no, here we go. Let's try this one. And they give it priced out. Bring in your quilts up to 120 by 120 inches and get them long armed with edge-to-edge quilting on our computerized Gamble Statler machines for the low everyday price of $159.99. Okay, so they have a flat rate. I don't think that's terrible. That's an edge-to-edge design, so it's not customization, but I'm sure that they have other services, and they do as well. All right, let's go to the main shop and take a look at what they have. All batiks are $12.95 a meter. That's good. That's really good. Clearance fabrics, winter fabric sale, $13.95 for cottons a meter, $12.95 for batiks, regular width only, and notions and patterns. Well, I'm intrigued. Let's check out their batiks and see what they have to offer. And well, up here it says all batiks, 454 batiks. Oh, I might have to go shopping. At $12.95 a meter, that is really, really good. Lots of pages. Okay, note to self, when I'm finished doing this review, I'm going to check that out. Now, they have Northcott. So, yeah, and Hoffman batiks. Well, that's a really, really good price. We'll need to check out shipping though to see. Maybe they'll get us there. Okay, let's see what they have for clearance. 20 inches, half meter, $6 for half a meter. So $12 a meter. Well, that's still a really good price. And there might be something in here that I'm interested in. Yeah, I'm going to have to check this out a little further. Okay, let's carry on with the shopping here and look at notions. So they have accessories, adhesives, cutting tools, marking tools, pins and needles, quilt labels, thread, and rulers. Let's check out thread. Looks like they handle Gutermann. And they do. And they also have, looks like embroidery threads. Is this their only brand? They have it listed by color. Yeah, it looks like their only brand is Gutermann. And what's the price on Gutermann? $269 for 50 weight, 100 meters. Oh, that's for that one though. But the prices vary depending, I guess, what you buy, because there's $4.99, $5.29. Yeah. So the prices vary between $269 and $5.29 for a spool of thread. I don't use Gutermann, but Gutermann is a good name in thread. So if you're a Gutermann user, I don't know, but I'm assuming that's an okay price. What else is in their shop? They have got other notions. We already looked at that. Let's look at patterns. Villa Rosa designs, okay. Table runners, seasonal quilts. And well, they have 438 patterns. So that's a lot. Looks like they have a lot of this Villa Rose design type things. I've never done any of their patterns before, but there looks like a pretty good selection. And well, what's the price on some of these patterns? $5 for the Villa Rose. Villa Rose are just basically a single card with the instructions on it. Let's jump ahead. Let's see what else. Oh, a lot of Villa Rose. Okay. Did they have a listing? It looks like they maybe only handle Villa Rose. Yeah, that's all they have. But there's still a fair selection here, and at $5, that's not expensive. Um, did they have pre-cut friendly? It's all Villa Rose though. Yeah, so it looks like the only company to deal with in patterns is Villa Rose. Okay. Anything else in here to look at? Just go back to Notions for a second. Look at accessories. And yeah, not a lot here to choose from. Die catcher sheets. I could use some more of those. But anyways, okay. So under what's new? So they have the new fabrics, lots of seasonal right now, of course. Workshop, I don't know what that is. Is that a, oh, okay. Now these are a little bit more expensive, $13.95 a meter, but still very, very good price. I'm coming back here. I'm going to do some shopping. Okay, who we are. They say Quincy's Quilting is proudly Canadian, a locally owned quilt shop with a large selection of fabric, including batiks, cottons, and wide quilt backings. In addition, we carry over 400 different Villa Rose patterns. And it goes on and talks about this. Receive a $20 discount. That caught my eye. Let's see. Oh, that's for long arming. You get a discount first time user of their service. Let's check out their shipping. Okay. Orders are processed and shipped with great care and precision. Nobody likes to get the wrong item. Over 95% of orders are shipped within 24 hours of receiving your payment. Our inventory system is real time, so if it shows as in stock, it is. Okay. From time to time, we receive an order. We may have a question about your order. Okay. Shipping in Canada. Ground shipping in Canada is provided for a flat rate fee depending on your province. We ship most items via Canada Post. And they do have expedite shipping is available for additional fee. They do ship to the United States, but I'm not seeing anything about what the shipping costs. So let's just go in and pretend buy something, which I may be coming back to. Let's see. Okay, add to cart. I just want 1 meter of it, add to cart. Proceed to checkout. Okay, they're based the shipping on your postal code. Please select a state to see shipping. I hate it when they say that. Select province, Ontario. Subtotal. Oh, economy, $35, 3 to 5 business days. That is expensive. That is very expensive. Now, maybe if it is a flat rate, then you'd want to order a lot more. And I didn't see anything up here that said you got free shipping if you ordered a certain amount. So I may place an order with them. I'll see. I'll check that all out, and I'll let you know if I do get something from them. I'll be sure to review it for you. So overall, I think this site has potential. The only thing that really bothers me about this is the shipping rate. It is expensive. So we'll see how that works out if I place an actual order with them. So that's Quincy's Quilting. So as you heard, I had a pop-up sew day on Saturday, this past Saturday. I didn't put out the announcement for that until the Friday, and with pop-up sew days, you know that's usually the case. I don't give you much more than a 24-hour notice because I never know for sure whether I was going to do one. Several factors were figuring into that. Walter was sick last week. He had a UTI. And yeah, he went through a little bit of hell for a couple of days. He's still recovering from it. Actually, he's on antibiotics right now, but he is fine. Um, so I didn't know what was going to happen on the weekend, how he'd be feeling, and whatever. But it turned out okay. Did a pop-up sew. Had about 24 people at the height of it. That's pretty good for a pop-up sew day. Um, Great group, as I said earlier in this episode. We had a lot of fun, a lot of chatter this time, which makes me feel happy when there's a lot of chatter amongst people participating in the sew day, because one, takes the pressure off me to keep the conversation going so I can get something done, and two, it just means people are feeling comfortable in the environment, and it is a safe and supportive environment. So if you've never been to one of my pop-up sew days, or to Craft and Chat for that matter, then consider it. If you're available when the next one happens, please pop in for it. I guarantee you, you are not going to be disappointed. Also, if you'd like to be on the mailing list for pop-up sew days and for Craft and Chat, please just send me an email telling me you want to be on one or the other or both. Both are fine. And when I have these events, you will get a few days in advance a personal email invitation with the Zoom link for that, because they're all done by Zoom. I do not record them, so don't worry, you're not going to show up on YouTube. It's just a great environment. I have a lot of fun at it, and I know everybody else seems to as well. So speaking of that, a couple of things for events coming up. Craft and Chat. Craft and Chat is on the first Wednesday of every month, as most of you know that are regulars. So the next one is December the 7th. That is 1 week from this Wednesday coming. You will already find the Zoom link for that in the show notes below, and they will be in all of my videos for this week. That link will be there. And it'll also be in the show notes on Monday and Tuesday of my videos next week. And then it'll be the Wednesday. We start Craft and Chat at 1 a.m. Haha, no, we don't. 1 p.m. On the day of Eastern Time. And it runs until approximately 4:30-ish, whatever. It depends on how things are going. Whatever. And I got to stop saying whatever. Sound like a Valley girl. Whatever. Okay, never mind. Yeah, it'll run until about 4:30. And come, bring a project you're working on, get caught up, start something new, enjoy the conversation. You'll learn something, believe me. I always do. I have my enablers on there, like on the Sewers Club thing. Yeah, I didn't know anything about that. Bingo. People got me buying into it. So anyways, yeah, that's coming up December the 7th. What else is coming up? Well, I am going to have a sew day. It is not a retreat. It's just like a pop-up sew day kind of a thing, or Craft and Chat. Maybe with a couple of special other things in it. I don't know. I'm still kind of thinking about it. But what I have decided is on New Year's Day, January the 1st, there will be an all-day sew day. Now, why on January the 1st? Well, first of all, I did a little impromptu survey with the people that were here for the pop-up sew day and on Stephen and Walter Live the other day to see who would be interested if I had something like that. And many of you said you would. Now, my feelings were, if your New Year's Day is like my New Year's Day, it's boring. Okay? New Year's Day, everything is closed, at least here in my province, statutory holiday. The hubbub of Christmas is over. You're looking at your Christmas decorations and going, I really ought to get at those and take them down. At least that's me. I know some people leave them up longer. I don't. Christmas over. Bye-bye. They're put away. But it's a bit of a downer day, isn't it? At least I find it is. Some people do things with their family on that day. We don't. Just Walter and I usually on that day. And it's just boring. And I feel so not let down exactly, but and not depressed. But it's like, oh, you've been building up for Christmas and New Year's Eve and everything for so long, and then that's done. and you just you sort of come back down to earth. So I thought that would be perfect time to at least keep for one more day the fun of Christmas alive by having a sew day. So I am. It'll start probably at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and run until probably about 5 in the afternoon, something like that. It'll be come as you go. You know, when you can make it and you want to come, then sign in and leave whenever you need to leave. If you've got other plans that day and you only want to come for a couple of hours, that's perfectly all right. Not a problem. Now, I will talk more about this and give you more details and the Zoom link and everything like that when we approach the date, when we get a little bit closer to that time period. But you can start thinking about it now. Okay, and one other thing, a sort of special event, they'll be embedded within my episodes, I think, of So Chatty. I think I'll probably put these in So Chatty. But Stephanie of Stephanie Stitches and I are going to get together to open up our Missouri Star quilt boxes. Now, we're going to do this over the progression of 3 Sundays. We've set up a Zoom link. It'll be recorded, and it's not going to be a live event. And it will be live for her and I, but not for anybody else. And we're going to each open up about 8 of the gifts that come in the box. We're going to open them in order. So day 1 to day 8 will probably be the ones that we'll open up on our first session and talk about what we got and whether or not we like it or whether we'll ever use it or whatever. So that's what we're going to do. And as I said, I'm going to put my version of it probably in an episode of So Chatty, depending on how long it takes. If it's a little bit longer, I may actually do it as a separate video altogether, and we'll see. And I'm not sure how Stephanie's going to handle it on her channel, but I'm sure she's going to do something with it. So I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be fun. And I'm going to have another Christmas box opening. I bought 2 this year. I bought one from Missouri Star Quilt, and I bought one from Kawartha Quilting, the quilt store in my area. I haven't got it yet. Supposed to have it for the 1st of December. This is now November 29th. I'm expecting I should see an email today coming to me saying it's ready and I can pick it up. And so, yeah, hopefully. And so that's just me doing the unboxing of that. And again, I will probably lump that into an Idiot Quilter episode or maybe into a So Chatty as well. So yeah, some Christmas boxes to reveal. I have never done Christmas boxes before, so this is a first for me. Okay, so I think that brings me to the end of today's episode. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you later. Have a great week. I hope you're caught up on your Christmas creations. Bye for now.